All right, so Bright MLS just dropped the March 2023 real estate stats for our market here in the Washington, D.C. area. And you know, everywhere, whether it's the news or your neighbor, you're hearing all kinds of different opinions on the real estate market. So I decided I'm gonna jump into the facts and actually see where we're at. So let's get right into the video. All right, guys, as I was saying, this has been one of the weirdest real estate markets I have ever been a part of. In early February, it was like somebody flipped a light switch on and there were buyers coming out of everywhere, and we were getting multiple offers, and the interest rates went down to about 5.5%. Then for a few weeks they were at 7%, and now we're back down to around 6.5 at the start of this video. And obviously there's a lot of buyers on the sidelines kind of just waiting for that perfect interest rate. And if that is you, here's what I can say. You are not going to see that 2, 3, or 4% rate again, unless we have some kind of big disaster. I think we're going to be hovering around this 5, 6, 7% interest rate that we've seen here the last year or so. And I think it's going to take some time for some buyers to get used to that, because we're still seeing multiple offers. I just listed 2 houses, one in Stafford and one out in Prince William County, and they both each had over 10 offers. So I want to see kind of year over year, last year, where we are here in the Washington, D.C. market compared to this year. So let's talk about the D.C. region in general and kind of where that is before we dive into some deep spots here in Northern Virginia. So just the D.C. area, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Virginia, all that. Closed sales are down 30% year over year, which makes perfect sense. But the median sales price is down 2% to $545,000. Medium days on the market is up 3 days. The median days on the market is only 9 days in the Washington, D.C. area. Now, here's the crazy thing. Pending sales are down 28%, but new listings are actually down 35% in Washington, D.C. area. What that means is, yes, less houses are going under contract, but a lot less houses are going on the market. And that's why, which completely blew my mind, there is only 1.1 months of supply of homes for sale here in Washington, D.C. area. So what exactly does that mean? If all the houses went off the market, it would only take 1 month for all the houses to sell in Washington, D.C. Now, anything above 4 is a buyer's market, so we are still in a very strong seller's market. So let's get into some more stats and comment below what you guys think. So I was looking at the stats right here in Northern Virginia, and one thing that really shocked me is, yeah, the volume of homes being sold is way down, but inventory levels are still really low. So let's talk about how many active listings there are in each county. So Prince William County, there's only 372 homes for sale, and that's well below the 5-year average of 450 houses. The other day I was looking in the Haymarket area, and there was something like only 30 houses for sale in all of Haymarket. And then when you get over to Loudoun County, there is 401 homes for sale. And I've seen it at some points of my career in Loudoun of being over 1,000 homes for sale at any given time. And then Fauquier County only has 113 homes for sale. So think about that. In the whole county, if you were looking to buy in Fauquier County, like a Warrenton or somewhere in that area, there is only 100 houses to choose from in the whole market. Now, Fairfax County, which is the biggest county in the state of Virginia, has 932 houses for sale. And then Alexandria has 153 houses for sale. All of these are way below their 5-year averages, which is really crazy, because you would think, hey, it's a slower market, right? There'd be a lot more houses for sale. Then we get over to Arlington, which has 296 houses for sale, but Arlington is actually within its 5-year average. So Arlington kind of has stayed the same, which really has surprised me. And what I think happened there was with COVID and people moving more out into the suburbs to work from home, that really has affected the Arlington and Washington, D.C. market, because D.C. has 1,694 homes for sale, which is above its yearly average of 1,433. So what's that tell you? More people are moving out into the suburbs and not staying into the city. So let's keep looking at some of these stats. All right, so another stat I like to look at, which tells me the pulse of the market, is going to be average sales prices year over year and average days on market year over year, right? And what I'm seeing though, when the market was really hot and people were going out way overbidding, we're still seeing a little bit of that, but now people are actually able to get inspections again and not have to waive appraisals again and all that. So it's still a very healthy market, right? But it doesn't make much sense because there's not a lot of houses for sale. But let's talk about like some of these averages. And what I was looking at, we're seeing a mainly flat market year over year on all the stats because Prince William County has an average days of market of 21 days, and that's long gone from the average, 7 days it was back during 2021, 2022. Loudoun and Fairfax both have an average of 20 days. Alexandria is 25 days. Washington, D.C., 42 days. And then Arlington City is 29 days, and they are actually well above their 5-year average. So again, Arlington is moving pretty slow. Now, the reason why I kind of like to pick on Arlington a little bit, but I also give it some grace, is Arlington has a huge condo market, and some of these condo buildings, especially high rises, it's not always easy to get a loan. And also Arlington has some multi-million-dollar properties for sale, which we know, which can skew the numbers a little bit. But Fauquier County is definitely the outlier. They have an average of 39 days on the market compared to 45-day 5-year average. They're kind of in line of where they usually have been. So let's talk about year over year prices. Have prices plummeted like most people would have predicted, or have they stayed the same? And some of them from like an Austin, Texas to Seattle and Portland have really told me their prices have plummeted. But I will say some of those areas had a big influx of new construction, which we really didn't see around here. So let's talk about our local market here. So medium sold prices in Fauquier County for March were down 11%. So Fauquier is struggling a little bit. But Prince William County was $520,000, which is the exact same it was last year. And then you get over into DC and it's $640,000, which is down 3%. So in the city of Washington, DC, prices are actually down 3%. So they are seeing somewhat of a squeeze there. Now, when you get into Loudoun County, it is $720,000 of a medium sales price, but that is actually up 6%. And if you watch this channel, we dive a lot into Ashburn, Sterling, Leesburg, all these areas. So Loudoun County is definitely an outlier where it is still a very popular market with all the jobs in there. And then Fairfax is at $662,000, up just 0.3%. So meaning Fairfax County has been a really flat market as well. And then Arlington was just 0.7 at $650,000. And Alexandria, which completely blows my mind, is up 26%, the prices there. So what does it tell you? It is really still local when you talk about real estate, but let's talk a little bit more about the market and where I think you can go if you're a buyer or a seller and what your best options are. All right, so if you're thinking about selling or you're thinking about buying here in Northern Virginia, what can you do to protect yourself at all costs? Well, first of all, you better text me at the number below and smash that like button and comment on these videos to help me with the YouTube algorithm. But if I was selling my house, here's the number one tip I tell people. You gotta make sure your house is in selling shape. Buyers nowadays are maximizing all the money they have for down payments and closing costs, so they need all the money they can get, and they don't have a lot of money for repairs. So about half the customers that call me say, hey Chris, can we do as is? And what I tell them is that is a huge mistake. We want to come in and I can help you with it, get it staged, get it ready on the market. You want it to be as presentable as possible. And yes, that means getting rid of the 80s baseball cards that nobody ever looks at, or the magazines from the Food Network that you've had it for over the last 20 years. You definitely want to declutter, and I can come out and give you a good look at the house, tell you what it's worth, show you my marketing strategy and all that. Now, if you're thinking about buying, here's the thing, you are never going to time these rates, right? You might lock in at 6.5 and they could go up to 8, or you might lock in at 6.5 and they could drop down to 5. If they drop, you can always refinance. That's the beautiful thing. But if you're only looking to live there for only 2 or 3 years, I would not buy in any market. You always want to stay there at least 5 to 7 years. Another thing that I tell people is, look, if you're buying your first house, one way to look at it is just keep that maybe as a future investment property or something like that. This is the DC area. And if our market goes down, the rest of the country goes down with it. So those are my 2 tips right there. Definitely text me anytime. I love talking to Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia real estate. And please subscribe to this channel. As always, I'll see you at the top or from the top.